I'm going to go for Fulkrug to score or assist. He came on for Antonio in the previous game. I would expect him to start this game. The base of this bet builder is going to be Emile Smith-Rowe to have a shot on target. As I say, the value in these games is with Ipswich players. Gibbs White takes it up to 4s. He takes free kicks, by the way. Ipswich to get the most cards. I think that's a good option as well. Welcome back, football fans, to another episode of the Prediction Show with me, your host, Joe. I am the founder and developer of this tool right here, oddalerts.com, and I've got a couple of new pages to show you today. We're going to take a look at the Premier League. Every single game we're going to put together a bet builder using player data, using historic data, and before that we're going to show you a brand new page, which is this bet of the day page. So without further ado, run the intro.
Football drives our hearts, data plays its part, value bets we seek with Joe from oddalerts.com.
So before we move on to the Premier League and putting together those bet builders, I'm going to show you this new page, Bet of the Day, BOTD, oddalerts.com/BOTD. And what it does, it allows you to rank all of the games in the world by the probability model. So essentially showing you our bet of the day. What do we think has the best chance of landing? So of course, at the top of the page, you're going to see higher probabilities and lower odds. So you can scroll down to see lower probability and higher odds. And there are some value bets in here, as you can see already. Scala in the Estonian football world, 1.56, 75.82 probability. So this page, simple at the moment, but that's what I wanted it to be. I want it to be a place where you could come every day and just take a look at some games. In the future, you'll be able to click on these games, favorite them, view some stats. But for now, what you can do is you can change the market. So for the first time ever, double chance probability on Odd Alerts. This is the first place that it appears, and you can see again 97.65 for a draw or a home win in this game here, the CAF Champions League. And then you can just go through again and scroll down, and you'll see a show more button. You can click it, and it'll just keep loading the games, and you can just view the probability model like this in a very, very simple way. I'm recording this on Friday, so it might be interesting to see Saturday's games. We can do that, and then we can go to over 2.5 goals. And what it'll do is load a new page, and then again we can go to tomorrow, and we see that we are looking at Saturday's games now. The top games from the model for over 2.5 goals essentially are bets of the day. Enjoy this page, link in the description. So in this next section, we will be using the Odd Alerts app, which is being beta tested by all pro users. I've got a couple of things to show you here. The first is just a new feature. I want to start putting updates in these videos a bit more. There are quite a few to show you. So one of the first things is that on the value bets page, you can now click track, and we have introduced a new instant bet tracking feature that just pops up in the widget. Nice and simple. You can select the market, it will predefine it for you, so it knows that you're coming from the home wins section on the value bets page. If I go to over 2.5 goals, and notice that this sticks around, you can minimize it, you can close it, and if you click on track for this game, it's going to show you the odds, and this is a value bet of 33%, 1.53 implied odds. And the odds that you can get are over evens. And again, this is in Malaysia, where you do often see quite a few goals. So we can track that, and you can select the bankroll. I'm going to say, let's create a new bankroll. And again, this is something that wasn't possible with the previous instant bet tracking on the original value bets page. You couldn't create a bankroll on the fly. So this is pretty great stuff. Let me just create a bankroll quickly for these value bets. So over 2.5 goals, we hit save, and then I can just save that bet to the bankroll, and it's saved, and it will automatically close the bet tracking widget. So that is the value bets page and the update that was made there. And now we're going to go to the player props page, because I've also introduced some pretty cool updates. So I mentioned at the top of the video that we are going to take a look at the Premier League exclusively in this video, put some bet slips together, and that is what we are going to do. And I want to base these bet builders around player stats using this player props tool. So we will combine some stuff. We might have over 2.5 goals and X player to have a shot on target, or tackles, or just general shots, passes, you know. And we are going to use this tool, and I'm going to show you how you can use it using the new updates that have been pushed. This tool is now available for all pro users of Odd Alerts, and I'm hoping with this demo you can see how powerful it is. So what we can do, if you want to find a game, just start typing MAN, and then we get games. We get Brighton, Manchester United. Really looking forward to that one. Manchester City against Ipswich. Erling Haaland is really looking forward to that one, as are the millions of fantasy Premier League managers that have got him as captain. I'm one of them. Just before we go any further, these are the Premier League games that we're going to be taking a look at. We're just going to go over them very, very quickly. You've got the probability model here in line, so it can guide us a little bit. You can see BTTS there, quite high for Brighton versus Manchester United. 62%. Brighton started last season with BTTS landing in the first 11 games, I believe. And it already hasn't happened for them. Away at Everton, great win for them. Crystal Palace, West Ham, London derby there. Tottenham, Everton, big game for Everton. 3-0 defeat in the first game. They don't want to suffer back-to-back defeats, but this is not an ideal second game for them, given how Tottenham's first game went as well. Tottenham need to put away their chances. Southampton's first game back in the Premier League at home is to Forest. That is a nice fixture for them, ability for them to show what they can do at home. The teams that have come up, the home form is going to be absolutely vital if you're going to have any chance of staying up. If you don't win your home games, then you can, just start packing your bags and start going back to the Championship already. And Manchester City, Ipswich, you can see their implied odds 1.66, which is actually, I think, quite low in terms of what is expected of this game, but there you go, 1.66. I imagine the odds in reality are much, much lower. Man City started with a win away at Chelsea, quite a comfortable win, to be honest, and Ipswich had a very good first half, but let's see how they do away from home. They'll try and keep the ball. Will they try and play out from the back against that electric front three of Manchester City? It cost them a little bit against Liverpool. Certainly gave up way too many chances against Liverpool. So Man City will be all over that, I feel. And Man City only going to get better as they welcome players like Stones, Walker, Rodri back. I'm not sure about when they come back, but you would feel it is going to be in the next few weeks. Fulham, Leicester. I think Leicester did well to come back against Spurs, and Fulham making some good signings. This is a big game for them, big game for Marco Silva to show the home fans the intent for the season, how they want to play. And I think we'll see goals in that game. And then the 5:30 game, what a game. The Unai Emery derby, Aston Villa hosting Arsenal. So those are the games in the Premier League on Saturday. Let's take a quick look at Sunday. And by the way, if you want to win Odd Alerts Pro, which contains all of the features that we're going to mention, and a lot more, by the way, pinnacle dropping odds, foul alerts, back testing, value bets, suggested alerts as well, the player props tool. There is a lot to it. If you want to win Odd Alerts Pro, all you have to do is comment on this video. The winner from the previous video has been announced. What I'm going to do is just reply to the winning comment now. So if you've got a notification from me, well done. I'll set you up today. And the same goes for this video. Just comment down below who you think in the Premier League will score this weekend. And don't just say Haaland. You don't have to be correct. Try and say something a little bit different. Last week, everyone just said Haaland or Salah. Well done. You both won. Sunday is the day of derbies. You can see at the bottom there, Championship action, Swansea versus Cardiff. Now, that's a real derby. On Saturday night, we've got the Unai Emery derby, Villa-Arsenal. And on Sunday, we've got the Eddie Howe derby, as Bournemouth host Newcastle. We've got the Pedro Neto derby. Yeah, right. As Wolves host Chelsea. And then finally, we've got the Carvalho derby, because it's Liverpool-Brentford. That should be an interesting game. Slot's first home game. That second half, they were amazing. I think Slot will be learning more and more about his team every week. So now that we've checked out the fixtures, let's look at the player props tool for every game and start putting some bet slips together. I'm going to go away, do some research, and then I'll come back when I've got the slips ready for you, and I will explain my choices and show you the player props tool in action. Now we'll start with Brighton, and my initial feeling here is that Brighton will put on a show for Manchester United, and I think they will definitely score. I still think there's issues with the Man United midfield. They are going to get better this season. I think Man United this season will be much better, much improved than last season because they've signed players that they need. I still think they could do with a holding midfielder for when Casemiro gets sent off or gets injured. He's not a young guy anymore. I'm saying that. I think he's the same age as me, but he looks so much older than me, doesn't he? Agree with me, please. We can see towards the end of the season when the Zebri potentially knew that he was on his way out, Brighton were not very good towards the end of last season, but that all goes out the window because they've got a new manager, an impressive new manager. If you watch them against Everton, you'll know that they can hit you on the break in seconds with the pace that they've got up front, and not just the pace, but the control of João Pedro and Welbeck as well. So it is just one game played, of course. So expect the unexpected a little bit, of course, but the model is favouring Brighton for this game. 2.25 implied odds. Let's take a look at the reality. So as you can see by the odds comparison, it is quite tight. The bookies are struggling to call this one, given the improvement in Manchester United, given the fact that Xerxes might come in to make his full debut. Mason Mount feels like a new signing as well. Let's jump to Bet365 for this one. So the first thing that I believe will happen in this game, the base for the Bet Builder, is both teams to score. And now we will jump to the player props tool. So we see the player stats here, and Kozia Duberry, who I don't think will start. He's going to be back up for Minter on that right side. He's been in scoring form in his previous clubs and previous form. Last 19 games, 0.58 goals per game. Now, what you'll be able to do soon is click on the player and view all of their recent games, see where this data is coming from. You'll also be able to favourite players and set alerts, get automated alerts. So, yeah, check out this tool this weekend if you want. oddalerts.com/app/playerprops, or just go to the homepage and you'll see a button for it. So Bruno Fernandes to have a shot. I just want to show you something, actually. Give me a second, because Bet365 this week launched some brand new markets and then took them away and then rejected everybody that had actually placed a bet on them. Let me show you. So this is Macca's value bets on X. Thanks for sharing this, because I came online and then saw that these have been added. And if you look at some of these odds, this is why they took it away. This is headed shots. This was another new market, and player shots outside the box. Now you can see some of these odds are mental. I don't know why they even listed them. Marcus Rashford, a shot outside the box, 3.5. This isn't a shot on target, I don't believe. This is just a shot outside the box. Mason Mount, 3.4. Casemiro, 3.5. And as you can imagine, these got absolutely hammered. Bruno Fernandes evens to have a shot outside the box. These have been wiped. They are gone. And I'll also show you now proof that these have been completely rejected and turned into 1.16 odds. So the odds have been corrected. And I don't really agree with this, because they absolutely, it's not like they didn't check the odds before they listed these. So thanks for sharing to these two guys, because they caught them when they went up, and I will add these markets to the availability alerts for sure in case they ever come up again. But if Bet365 are just gonna correct the odds and say, oh, sorry, we made a mistake, you didn't make a mistake. I mean, you made a mistake in that you got the prices incredibly wrong, and I don't know how they can do that. I just find it unbelievable that there's no checks. I mean, there is, isn't there? But they can just fall back and just do this. They can just send an email like this that says, sorry, the price was wrong. What we're going to do is give you the correct odds now, which are 1.16. So, I mean, it's what they do, isn't it? Anyway, back to the video. I'm going to look at fouls, because I think Brighton, with Mitoma and Minter on one side, Rutter to make his debut. These are the fouls, by the way. So, Weaver in the middle for Brighton, 1.75 per game. And the top three belong to Brighton, but I'm not sure if two of those are going to start. So Luke Shaw isn't going to play. Dalot potentially could play on the left or the right. So we'll look at the last 10 games to see if it changes. Casemiro 1.2, Dalot 1.4. I think up against Mitoma, up against Minter, I'm going to go for fouls in this game as well. So let's take a look at that. Both teams to receive a card. 1.71 it takes the odds to. Potentially not worth it. Let's look at fouls committed for Manchester United. Diego Dalot. He is my pick, and it doesn't matter, to be honest. When you're playing against Brighton, it doesn't matter whether he is on the right or the left. These fullbacks that they've got, they like to get forward, and when you get forward, you have to get back. And when you have to get back, you can get caught out of position, and you might just take a tactical foul, especially if the player that you are trying to handle is Mitoma, is Minter, and then they've got options off the bench as well to come on when these players are tired, by the way, whereas Manchester United do not, at the moment, have options to bring on at right back or left back. I don't believe Luke Shaw not back yet, Malacia not back yet, and Amas, the young left back, I'm not sure if he will be trusted, especially in a game like this, yet to be seen. So over evens here, Dalot to commit a foul and BTTS. We don't have to predict the score, we don't have to predict the winner, but if you wanted to, you could potentially go double chance Brighton. I rate them very highly. Both teams to receive a card you could go for, teams to get the most, maybe corners Brighton with the wingers that they've got. I think that would be a pretty good option, actually. Brighton to get the most corners at 3.4. You can see that the bookies are actually fancying that as well. They will look to get at you. They will look to get in behind you. They look to put balls in that dangerous area. And that all does lead to corners, to be fair. So that's something that you could add as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. And now we'll move on to the next game. Crystal Palace, West Ham, two teams that lost their opening games, and we can see here Kamada. Someone actually messaged me on X, tweeted me on X, that they had Kamada on for a yellow card after using this tool last week. Yeah, you can see that he's top of the pile for fouls. If we go 365 days, just to see if there are any outliers, Munoz is at the top, 1.75 fouls per game. Paqueta, could be a nice double, that couldn't it? Paqueta, foul and a shot on target. Assist or goal. I didn't quite like what I saw from Palace defensively last week, and to be honest, Gahey looks like he might join Newcastle, and Anderson has left, so they're going to have to sign some players. The start of the season might be a bit rocky for Crystal Palace. I expect West Ham to score in this game. I think for this one, the base for me is going to be over 2.5 goals. If we just take a look at the probability model, BTTS is 1.73, over 1.5 goals 1.27, and over 2.5 goals 1.78. So actually this is a value bet, marginal value bet, but a value bet nonetheless. So there's no foul markets being added, no foul markets available for this game, which tells me that the bookies expect there to be quite a lot of fouls. That is the only reason I believe that they would not add these. So I've added over 1 card in the second half, a market that I like to fall back to. So over 2 goals and over 1 card in the second half, 2.2. I'll try and get all these over evens. Don't want to go too crazy. You don't have to predict the whole game. That's something that's important when you're putting bet builders together. But we are going to add one more selection to this. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at total shots taken across the last 365 days. So Somerville, Jared Bowen, Eze. So I see Kudus and Paqueta both up there, and I think they're both going to start. Fulkrug is an intriguing one. 2 shots per game he is averaging. Let's have a look at the odds for the West Ham players. They are the away team, so you would expect them to be a little bit better. I'm going to go for Fulkrug to score or assist. He came on for Antonio in the previous game. I would expect him to start this game because, you know, they've bought him for big money. He's going to come in at some point. The selection will be void, of course, if he doesn't start, but that takes us to 4s. Over 2 goals, over 1 card in the second half. You can remove that one if you want, and it would take it down to 3.25, which is still good. And Fulkrug to score or assist. Now, that market, I was contemplating 3 players. Him, Paqueta, who scored in the previous game, and Kudus to score or assist. You could even throw Bowen into the mix. I think those players for West Ham, any game, are very good value for a goal or an assist. If you just think about it, Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta, and now Somerville into the mix. And even Fulkrug as well, the way he plays, the way he holds the ball, they're always going to be good for that market. So interesting one to monitor throughout the season, I think. Now on to Fulham, Leicester. We've got Stansfield, who was on loan, I think, wasn't he, last season? Mavadidi for Leicester. Jamie Vardy, of course. Will he have a shot? Will he get a chance? I think they might go in for another striker because when Vardy's not fit, he wasn't even fit against Tottenham, to be fair, but he still scored, still bagged, still gave some to the fans. I love that. I love that Vardy's back. Let's have a look at some of the markets here. Let's look at passes because Leicester and Fulham both like to keep the ball, especially in defence. Fulham now with Anderson. Will he go straight in? He makes a lot of passes when he does. Vestergaard for Leicester, Harry Winks for Leicester, Wout Faz for Leicester, Ricardo Pereira. So the whole Leicester defence. Let's take a look at the markets that are actually being offered for this one in terms of passes. We've got player shots. So no player passes being offered, which is a shame. So when we're looking at the last 25 games across the away games in that period for Leicester, no nil-nils in there. Clean sheet in 25 to 30% of games for both of these teams. A goal in every single game, of course, and Leicester scored in 71% of those games. Now, of course, they were played in the Championship. This is a different kettle of fish, but Fulham are a team they will try and match, of course. They will think they can do it. But I just look at that Leicester defence and I just think it's a little bit shaky. They, of course, drew with Tottenham, but I think that doesn't tell the whole story. Tottenham should have scored at least a couple more goals in that game. They gave them a lot of opportunities, and I think they will do the same to Fulham. The base of this bet builder is going to be Emile Smith-Rowe to have a shot on target. I think he will start this game, first home game as well. And yeah, as I say, they gave Tottenham a lot of spaces. And if they do the same thing with Fulham, then surely a lot of shots will follow. And given the players and the way that Fulham play as well, I am going to go with them to have the most corners. And I'm quite happy with that. Shot on target for Smith-Rowe and corners corner match bet for Fulham. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. And now we'll move on to the next game. Well, the next game is Man City, Ipswich, 3 p.m. How do you call this one? It's just absolutely bonkers, isn't it? I mean, the value will be with the Ipswich players. I'll just say that right now. If you want to get decent odds, the value will be 100% with the Ipswich players. So if we look at, let's look at shots, because I actually shared a winning slip on the video and on X last week for Hutchinson of Ipswich to have a shot on target, and I think he had 2 shots on target. So what we can do, let's look at fouls actually, because I'm sure Ipswich are going to be committing a lot of fouls. Sam Morsey, I think he got carded in the first game. Luongo, Hutchinson for a foul and a shot potentially. The thing, as I said with Man City last week on last week's video, is that you just don't know who's going to play other than sort of Haaland, Doku potentially. Savio got injured, didn't he? Is he going to be back? Phil Foden, will he make his first start? He came on at half time, didn't he? So what I'm going to go with here is to score or assist. Phil Foden at 1.5 is just, as I say, the value in these games is with Ipswich players, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. Man City are so dominant. You could go potentially half-time, full-time. Man City is 1.4. Let me know in the comments where you think the value is on this game. As always, every comment is entered into a draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. Man City to win 1.083. Absolutely not worth it. But what I'm going to do is check out the Ipswich players, and we will see that Sammy Szmodic 1.4. He came on. Delap 1.4. They've actually signed as well Brozier, who is an interesting signing. Hutchinson, 1.72 again. Wes Burns came off injured, so I think that's why his odds are a little bit higher. Davies bombs forward, doesn't he? Morsey to have a shot at 3s. I actually like the areas that he took up. He just sort of operates outside the area, just sweeping up. Morsey to have a shot and to make a foul as well. Don't tell me they've not got fouls on here. They've bottled it. They've absolutely bottled it, haven't they? So we could go for it with him to get a card as well, but I don't think it's worth it. I'm quite just happy with that, to be honest. Morsey to have a shot. Let's see where he actually ranks for shots. That should be something we definitely check, shouldn't it? So in the last 10 games, total shots, Haaland 39, Kevin De Bruyne 26, Hutchinson 26, Szmodic 26. Morsey is 11. So 11 shots in his last 10 games. Now, of course, some of those have been Championship games. But 11 shots in the last 10, will the ball fall to him from a corner or something? I think at 3s, it's not bad, is it? As I say, the value in this game is not looking at Man City players. And what the bookies want you to do is try and put on many slips in here. Because the odds are low, they'll want you to be like, oh, we'll do Haaland and Foden and Savio all have a shot. It's probably not going to happen. And the odds that they've given you indicate that it is going to happen. But yeah, 3s. I would have him on for a foul as well. I think cards, if we go team with most cards to be Ipswich, will it even bump it up that much? 4.5. Ipswich to get the most cards, I think that's a good option as well. So 4.5 we have there, a nice little double. Sam Morsey over 1.5, over 0.5 shots, bloody hell. And Ipswich to get the most cards. You could also throw in Man City to have the most corners, but let's not, push it too hard. So that's another game done. Let me know what you think in the comments. Southampton against Forest is the next game, and we will check out the player props tool again. I wanted to show you all of the data for this. I wanted to show you passes, but they're not offering the markets. They're not offering tackles or anything yet because I think they're just waiting to see how the season goes. So, we'll have a look at what is being offered. Player shot on target, player shot, player cards. Let's go with a card in this one, shall we? So we'll take a look at yellow cards for this one. We'll mix it up a little bit. Harwood Bellis, 3 yellow cards in his last 10 games. If we look at the last 365 days, Bednarak with 14 yellow cards, Flynn Downs, Jota Silva, Milenkovic for Forest as well, Morgan Gibbs-White. Interesting that. Maybe Gibbs-White shot and card or shot and foul. I don't think they're even offering foul markets for this one as well. No, they're not, which is a bit annoying, isn't it? What we'll do for this one then is team to get the most cards, Forest. And that is because Southampton, I believe, are going to keep the ball very, very well in this game, as they did against Newcastle. They played quite well against Newcastle in the second half. As I say, great clean sheet. So Forest to have the most cards in this game. I think Southampton will keep the ball very well and frustrate Forest. Forest will look to hit on the counter, which I believe they could for sure. They've got the players to do it. Player shot on target. I'm looking for Elanga, looking for Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White takes it up to 4s. He takes free kicks, by the way. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs-White, they are my choices. And again, as I was saying with West Ham before, to score or assist is a good market for these kind of players because they're always involved. They're always involved. Gibbs-White I'm going to go with to have a shot on target. Let me know what you think about that one. And what is your score prediction for this one? It's a tight and tough game to call, isn't it? Because obviously we're only in game week 2. But let me know what you think in the comments. Any comment automatically entered into a draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. Next game, Tottenham, Everton, and he missed a lot of chances against Leicester. I think he'll put one of them away in this game. Dominic Solanke to score 2.37. That is going to be the base of our bet. If we add Tottenham to win, it doesn't really do much. Tottenham had 13 corners and conceded just 2 against Leicester. Everton had 1 corner at home in the previous game against Brighton, and they conceded 5. I'm looking at this then. So teams to get the most corners, Tottenham bumps this up to 3s. The bookies are in on it as well. I still think that's going to happen. I think Tottenham are going to win this game quite comfortably. I think Ange will have been fuming, to be honest, at the amount of missed chances in that previous game. And 3s is good, half-time, full-time, potentially Tottenham. I think Tottenham will come out quickly in this game and try and get it won. You know what? We will go with that as well. Just because some of these have been evens or just over evens, let's have one that is a bit more out there. And Tottenham to win by half-time, Solanke to score any time, and Tottenham to have the most corners. So we are, again, you've got to make a prediction, haven't you? And my prediction is that this is going to be a dominant Tottenham performance. What do you think? Do you think Everton can come back and do something at White Hart Lane, the new Tottenham Stadium, whatever it's called, when they were so poor in the first game? They had a decent first half, offside goal, could have had a penalty, but really Brighton hit them on the break pretty quickly, and Tottenham are very good at doing that as well, getting the ball out quickly to those wingers and hitting you and getting it across. And I do think Solanke will score in this game. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see the prediction for Villa Arsenal, head over to oddalerts.com on X. x.com/oddalerts. I'm going to be posting all weekend in-play predictions, including Sunday's games as well. Jermaine Gina sacked by the BBC. What did he do? Brentford have signed Van den Berg. That is a good signing. They are becoming the sort of reverse Southampton for Liverpool, if that makes sense. Carvalho and now Van den Berg, £25 million. Well, that's a very good signing for them. Played well in the Bundesliga last season, didn't he? But obviously not going to get a look in with Kwanzaa and Konate and Van Dijk. Good signing for them. Potentially a little bit more than they would have wanted to pay. But anyway, if you want to get those predictions for Sunday's games and, of course, for the Arsenal Aston Villa game, just follow me on Odd Alerts and on X, sorry. And yeah, let me know if you've got any feedback for this tool as well. It is brand new, of course, and as you can see, there are so many leagues supported. Recording this on Friday, you've got Spanish La Liga. You can click on any game and you get the same data. Yellow cards, clearances, passes. Let's have a look at passes. Pepelu, 2,125 passes in the last 365 days. That is quite a lot, isn't it? So this has been a bit of a different video, Premier League focused. Gave some updates at the start of the video. It's so long, that's why I can't continue to do the next day's worth of predictions. I've not got the time. I've got to be somewhere soon. So yeah, I'll love you and leave you. Run the outro.